Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again. And if you enjoyed the Fallout TV show and are looking for the best place to start with the video game franchise, this is going to be the video for you. Because while some people will claim that you absolutely have to start with Fallout New Vegas because it's the best game in the franchise or something of that nature, there's a lot more nuance to that question depending on what you're personally looking for. So I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons of each game to see which one might be right for you specifically. Maybe not the best game in the franchise, but the best one to start with. And I'm going to go in order of the most recent releases, starting with Fallout 76. This one is really good if you are looking for a co-op multiplayer game, if you're looking for a game that has continued to get consistent updates as well. The only downside of this game being it doesn't have as cohesive a narrative. It doesn't have those traditional branching storylines that you're really looking for because it is more of a shared world type of game. But in my opinion, this one is a great one to start with, especially if you're not much of a single player gamer. This game has really fun combat, a lot of interesting dynamic elements to it that I think are a ton of fun. And while it really launched in a poor state, it has improved tremendously, and they've continued to add DLC over the course of time to make it a very fun game. It's not perfect by any means, but it is a solid starting point if you are not really worried about the narrative or the single player storyline and you just want to jump into some Fallout combat. Now, that's not going to be for everyone, but because it is multiplayer, it is easier for other people to show you the ropes as well. Then we're going to get on to Fallout 4, which is also receiving an update next week. This one is going to be a next-gen update that will not only add some new content, but also allow you to play it on a Steam Deck and have better graphics, all that kind of good stuff. And while this one is older than Fallout 76, hopefully this next gen update will add enough to make it viable and worthwhile for a lot of people. It is probably not the best Fallout when you compare it to Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, but it is still a very fun game. It's got interesting storyline. It is the most accessible game if you're just looking for the easiest one to jump into. Whether you are playing on console or PC, doesn't matter. This game runs well on either and can be enjoyed no matter what you're looking for. Again, if you're a longtime fan of the franchise, Fallout 4 might have felt like a little bit of a letdown. But for new players, this is, in my opinion, the best entry point because it allows you to get familiar with the gameplay and you'll be able to make some decisions, affect the storyline, see how the ending goes, and really enjoy the Fallout franchise. And then once you've played this game, then you can move on to some other titles that might suit you just a little bit better and might add a little bit more depth to the universe that Fallout 4 is missing at times. I do believe though that Fallout 4 is going to be the best place to start for most players, especially because if you don't play on PC, some of the older games really struggle with performance as well as some outdated systems. This game, if you're a modern gamer, if you're a younger gamer as well, Fallout 4 might be a better option for you. And I think while it might not be as good as some other entries in a lot of people's minds, it is still a very fun game. Then we move on to Fallout 3, which I think is the best of the mainline Fallout games overall, but it does feel super dated. And if graphics are going to be a problem for you, if you don't like some of the older textures and the way that the game looks, this one is going to struggle just a bit. I do think the story overall is better in Fallout 3, but I do also think that it's going to be hard for casual non-hardcore gamers to pick this one up and enjoy it long term. It is a very good game. I do think that after you've played one of the more recent entries in the franchise, that this is going to be the perfect next building block, next step. While I would say New Vegas is probably the better overall game, I do think that Fallout 3 would be a good step as you are learning all about the world that you're building with Fallout. And that's why if you get really sucked into the lore, this is going to be another one you're going to look out for. And again, if you're on PC, you can definitely add some mods and update this game in a way that'll make it much, much better. So that's something that you can definitely consider overall. But if you are playing on console, this one is really rough and one that I would be hard-pressed to recommend. Then we move on to Fallout New Vegas, and that is where we get to the one that most Fallout fans will recommend without considering some of the drawbacks. It's got the best RPG elements and the best narrative overall, in my opinion, of all of the Fallout games, but it struggles mightily, especially if you're trying to play it on console or if you're playing it on PC without any mods. I have seen people try to play the game and just absolutely struggle. So if you're a more casual player who doesn't enjoy modding their games or doesn't want to add anything to your title or worries about what that might entail, this is going to be a game that might not be for you. However, if you really grow into the franchise, this is one that you absolutely should not miss because of how it's going to affect Season 2 of the show. It does seem like they're going to be really drawing on Fallout New Vegas for the next season of the show, and I think that's going to be pretty important. So if you are able to jump in and maybe enjoy yourself with Fallout 76 or Fallout 4 and really love the franchise, then I think that is a good opportunity to jump into Fallout New Vegas and really not worry about the graphics or not having a sprint, which can be incredibly frustrating. But if you are a diehard, you want to learn more about the world, then New Vegas is going to be a fantastic place. I just feel like there's a lot of people that, if you start with Fallout New Vegas, are going to feel like this is an ancient franchise that doesn't compete in the modern day. And while that is still relatively true, even with some of the newer games, I feel like New Vegas is a tough sell for a lot of people. And remember, the difference between console and PC on some of these games is night and day. So that plays a major factor. Plus, if you want to play solo or if you want to play co-op, so you want to jump into 76 first, I think that also plays a factor in your decision on which game to start with. Now, Fallout 1 and 2 feel very different. I would not recommend those games to pretty much anyone who hasn't played the franchise yet. I think that is the last two titles that you should be jumping into if you are playing the Fallout franchise and you're absolutely looking for new Fallout games, because I do think those are really dated games. Obviously, they're very old. They are completely different gameplay from the newer Fallout games, and overall, it's just hard to recommend. Another game that I'm going to pitch here, if you are a fan of the franchise, but also just the way that the game delivers storytelling, if you go through and you play the Fallout games and really enjoy them overall, and you want that similar level of gameplay as well as storytelling, then The Outer Worlds is my favorite Fallout type game overall. I absolutely love that one, and I would recommend it to anyone, even if you don't want to jump in and play all the Fallout games. If you just want to play a new game that has interesting storytelling, that you affect the world. I did a fully evil playthrough my first time through. It was pretty hilarious overall. It's got similar humor and interesting ideas as the Fallout franchise, just in an entirely different universe and more space exploration. So I think that's one that I would definitely recommend checking out as well. But overall, let me know what you guys think. Where are you planning to start if you're new to the franchise with the Fallout games, what game would you recommend to newer players? And are you a Fallout New Vegas purist who will only say that game no matter if someone finds it unplayable or not? I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyway, my name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more Fallout coverage from me, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I can make a video on not only where Fallout 76 stands at the current moment, but also on the new Fallout 4 update that comes out next week as well. Let me know in the comments down below. My name is Jopa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.